Hello everyone, Mike here again from Eagle Ridge GM. And as you can see, I have something very special with me today. I have the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. Now stay tuned, I'm going to take you around the Stingray and show you a few details that some may or may not know about it. Starting with the front, as you can see, it's a very wide car, but you can get it in an even wider stance. So as you can see from the fenders, they're pretty flared out, but if you go for the Grand Sport or the Z06, the fenders stick out just a tiny bit more, and that's to accommodate different suspension and larger wheels. Taking a look at the headlights, these are the daytime running lamps, and these are the turn signals, and of course you have high beam and low beam xenons. So this particular Stingray is the base, so it doesn't have front sensors and it doesn't have cameras in the bumper. Taking a look at it from the side, it screams sports car. It has that traditional front engine, rear wheel drive layout with the cabin very far towards the back. Taking a look at the chrome wheels with 4-piston fixed calipers. You can get carbon ceramics if you upgrade to the Grand Sport or the Z06. Stingray logo next to the vents. And here's one of the quirks of the Corvette. So this air intake, I believe, is for the transmission or the rear differential. But if you look at it from the other side, it's a fake. There's nothing actually there. Now this is a characteristic of Stingrays, the base Stingray without the Z51 package, because the Grand Sport and Z06, they do have functional vents where I just showed you. And around back, no longer circular taillights, they're more rectangular with sharp angles, and the quad exhaust. Taking a look at the trunk, it is a hatchback, and thus you have quite a lot of luggage capacity in the back. You can actually fit the roof in here. So the roof actually detaches, and then it just lays right here, right on top. The battery is actually down here. Interesting little quirk, for better weight distribution, that is. And did you know that the rear hatch of all Corvettes is a soft close? So you just have to get it to latch once, and then it closes. Very cool. To open the door, you just reach in, like so, and push. As you can see, that's how the latch looks like. It's just a little button, and you press it in there. It is keyless, of course. So on the door you have your window switches, locks, and this little button down here is how you actually open the door. So you just press it, and it opens the door. And then this is what you see on the inside. This is what the interior of a Corvette looks like. A much better update over the C6 generation. And of course, no back seats because it is a 2-seater sports car. Sitting in the driver's seat of the Corvette, this is what you see when you're looking down at the instrument cluster. Speed gauge on the left, tachometer right in the center, right where you can see. So right now it is showing that the red line is at just around 4,500 RPMs, and that's because it changes depending on the oil and water temperature. So it will go up all the way to about 6,500 once it's fully warmed up. And your fuel gauge and water temperature over on the right. Next to that, you have the infotainment system. It does look a little bit different than all the other Chevrolet infotainment systems, but it functions the exact same way. There's a screen protector on here, so that's why it looks a bit bubbly. So one unique feature of the Corvette is this, the performance data recorder. So there's actually a camera right behind the mirror in this big box up here. And when you're on a racetrack, you can actually record your lap while looking straight ahead. And it'll overlay certain data points. So, example, the engine RPMs, your speed, and G-forces. You can all overlay it on top of the video. Right now, there's no SD card, so I can't record, but a very cool feature to see your lap times and improve on the racetrack. Below that, we have a few quick menu buttons for the infotainment system, as well as the climate controls. And below that, if you can just barely see it, we have a little Corvette Stingray plaque. And of course it does change depending on which model you're in. So for example, if you're in a Grand Sport, it'll say Grand Sport, Z06, or if it's a limited edition, it'll say one of however many there were. This one is an automatic, an 8-speed automatic. You can get a 7-speed manual. Very unique. The only other car that I know of that has a 7-speed manual is a Porsche 911. And your drive mode selector and electronic parking brake. Taking a look at the steering wheel, over on the left you have your cruise controls and your audio track forward and back. On the right you have controls to control the little infotainment screen right in front of the driver, voice commands, and the camera can catch it, volume up and volume down. And of course you also have paddle shifters, one on either side. Now if you were to get a manual, you can still get the paddle shifters, but they wouldn't be upwards or downwards on the gearbox because it's a manual obviously. Instead, it's for turning on or off the rev match feature. And finally we get to the important bit, the engine. Hood does open forward like every other Corvette before it. And there it is, the 6.2 liter V8. 460 horsepower in the Stingray, 460 horsepower in the Grand Sport, 650 in the Z06, and 755 in the ZR1. It's a lot of power to have under your right foot. So you can see how far back it is, and if we take a step back, notice where the center of the wheel is, and if you look up, the engine is actually right behind the center axle. So technically, you can call this a mid-engine car, but I know a lot of people won't do that, so it is still a front engine. If you want a mid-engine Corvette, just wait a little bit longer because the C8 generation is going to be the first ever mid-engine Corvette. And one other little tidbit, the transmission is actually right around here somewhere. So there's actually a torque tube that goes from the front to the back to the transmission and then to the differential and the wheels. And that's all for better weight distribution. So there you have it, a look at the Chevrolet Corvette Stingray. If you want to know more about this car and even the upcoming C8 mid-engine generation, I've left a few links in the description below. Do check them out. And also, if you have any questions, just leave us a comment and we'll get right to it. And also, follow us on social media and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.